I've got one out there that I drive, he's 6 years old. Mine's 99,
My butt,
Parker
yeah.
and I
mine's 99, I love
I
it.
get talk about everywhere I go.
his favorite things at Epic Universe, cause I went in October.
This is gonna be a
Yeah,
blue
it actually
Christmas.
been
I'm the same way, it's a Suburban, a GMC
Oh,
Suburban.
yeah. When you have them like that, you just like,
bad. I'm like, well, we did nights. Which was,
You're good.
I love that. We tasted
Gaps in our coverage here today. That's a good question.
yeah, are we gonna have,
we
we gonna
said
have?
We have a quorum.
5, 6, yes.
Okay, okay.
Just a policy, yes.
This is meeting start 8:30.
30 minutes. That makes sense. Kinda thought
Did
that.
y'all have a presentation at the finance committee meeting? Did Raphael come make a presentation to y'all?
Yes,
Required to have it in writing.
they just really just expanded and clarified some information.
Cause it's what I did with Gary Potter.
So I was wondering, did we get the city of Griffin rate?
No,
Please get up.
To the last minute.
Yeah, we got a big phone book. Official
They
county
do it
attire.
like it's first chairman.
I need two phone books.
That's it, yes. Just like in the military, yes, supposed to put that on.
But it's blue.
Yeah, I don't like how they do that. They give it to us at the last minute,
Yes.
then we can't
I
make
like to be able to
decisions
see
about
over
what
the
we
railing
do.
here.
And then, of course, we don't know if we're gonna.
Chair malfunction.
look at Increasing stuff or whatever.
Technical difficulties.
probably the earliest.
Everybody ready to roll?
Yes,
sir. Where's my mic? Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning. Pretty good crowd. I'd like to call to order the regular scheduled meeting for December 17th, 2025 for the Spalding County Water Authority. And hopefully next month we can actually say that legally. If y'all would, I'd like for everyone to stand for the invocation that's going to be delivered by Miss Gwen Flowers Taylor, followed by the pledge of flag by Mr. Dick Morrow.
If you would, join me, please. Father, we come here this morning in thanksgiving. We thank you for fresh water, clean air, safe, warm places to sleep at night. And we just thank you for all the blessings that you have given us and given this community. Be in this room today as we make decisions that will help determine the future of this community and of this authority. Give us diligence, patience, and discernment as we make these decisions. These things, Father, we ask in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We did away with the motion to adopt agenda, correct? Yep. Citizen comments?
Morning, neighbor.
Nothing. Moving on to minutes. Give Wanda a second to settle down.
Good morning, Wanda.
Good morning. How are y'all doing?
The November 19th, 2025 regular scheduled meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve said minutes.
I got a motion. I got a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? Unanimous. Item 2, consider acceptance of the following December 3rd, 2025 Planning Committee meeting minutes and December 10th, 2025 Finance Committee meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move we we accept both sets of minutes.
I got a motion. I have a second from Mr. Davis. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? Unanimous. We are on a roll. Moving on to General Manager Report. Uh-oh, the wheels just fell off.
So, what we're looking at here, we've sold roughly 400 million gallons of water fiscal year to date. Just to put that in perspective, we're only 252,000 gallons short of where we thought we would be by the end of November. So everything is looking good. Our meter sales are back on pace. So there's nothing out of the norm. We did finish our fire hydrant maintenance. Moving on to the projects. The major things that have changed since the last meeting, the contractor for our sewer plant is on the wet well, and the lift station wet well should be, the base of it should be poured next week. And the crossing under Cabin Creek should be completed by the end of the month. Groundwater has been a little bit more of a pickle than they thought, so they've had to dig deeper wells and larger wells. We have 4 2-inch pumps, and we're about to put 2 4-inch pumps to get the groundwater off of them. So, other than that, the construction schedule is moving along. Nothing has surprised us other than the groundwater so far.
May I interrupt for a question?
Yes.
We always hear about I&I problems in sewer systems.
Yep.
This sewer pipe that we're doing today, I haven't been out there and looked. Is it bolted together, or is it,
No, it's gonna be, gasket. So
it's gonna be what?
It's gonna be push joints.
Push joint,
So.
just stuck together?
Correct, but, before the line gets accepted, they're gonna do a vacuum test and a low pressure test. So we will know if there's any weak joints.
But you would think with the way the world moves at time pieces, it doesn't create problems? I just assumed they'd be bolted or together.
In time it will.
In
Time it
will.
will, but we are,
Right.
we're putting in some technology day one to get good, base readings. We're gonna put 2 smart covers in the, sewer system that is gonna provide 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of eyes in the sewer system. So in the event that we have no customers, we should have no flow in that pipe. So that, the eyes in the system are gonna allow us to monitor it on a daily basis. So we should be able to catch any failure or any issue that, as it arises.
So this is the latest technology of putting pipe together, is that right?
Absolutely. Well, no, it's same technology.
Same technology.
It's just the fact that it's gonna be buried, some instances 20 feet deep, as shallow as 10 feet deep. We're not anticipating, there's not much movement down there, because the ground is typically stable with temperature. The only thing we're trying to do, and think about it this way, the bedding of the pipe is creating basically a 6-inch French drain. So water is gonna travel the path of least resistance and actually go under the pipe down to the creek.
And if we do get a leak, we just have to go back and line it. We wouldn't have to dig it back up.
Well, having been through a couple of small earthquakes in my day, I know the earth moves.
The biggest issue with the groundwater is you don't want anything floating, like the wet well. I mean, you could float a digester or something like that, concrete digester that's 50 foot across. You can float one of
So they
those.
put a gravel French drain under it, move it out.
So they put our sewer line is gonna be bedded with 57 stone, roughly 6 inches deep, and then, they'll cover the pipe with 57 stone, but yeah, that 6-inch bed will basically act like a French drain.
Oh, that's good.
Yep.
If groundwater has been an issue now, as dry as it's been, do you anticipate any further issues should we get wet weather?
No, so think about it, the groundwater, one of the reasons why we're in it so bad is because our wet well is 35 foot deep. So we are down below the base, or below the creek level. So we anticipated having groundwater, and the design of the lift station has taken into account that. I mean, we put in extra ballast and a buoyancy collar to make sure it doesn't pop up out of the ground. But as soon as the structure is put in and it's waterproofed on the outside and inside, we're not gonna have any issue.
All right, well, I'm ready for my test of sewer 101.
Moving on to the lead and copper rule compliance, our team has done a great job. Since April of this year, we've been able to reduce our total unknown count roughly 49%. So we are definitely on track of meeting the requirement of the law by 2027, having all our unknowns known. And the letter for the customer notification will go out by the end of the month. We're still waiting on the exact date from the city of Griffin, but it has been, all information has been provided to them, and they've contacted the Datamatics, who is responsible for sending the bills and the customer communications. So we will satisfy that request. that completes my summary.
All right.
If there are no questions, I move to accept the manager's report.
Excuse me. Can you say that one more time, Dick?
I move we accept the manager's report and, go ahead and second it.
We got a motion, at least a couple of seconds.
Yeah, go ahead.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? It's unanimous. Charlie, you got that sorted? No, I'm hitting all late today. Next item up, special committee report.
Mr. Chairman, we did meet on, December 3rd for the planning committee, and, Joseph's presented us with the, hydrant maintenance and flushing program. It's a requirement that what we're doing currently become part of our written, procedure in the book, and that will be on the, or is on the agenda for later day for approval to make that official. We were briefed on a capital recovery fee for existing customers remodeling. It's interesting that we have a former furniture store now that's being converted to a grocery store, and that will take a lot more water than a furniture store did. So Joseph thinks it's what we need, and we agreed unanimously that we need a policy where you have an existing, quote, paid for capital recovery fee, but you change uses and upgrade. So there should be a procedure for charging you for the additional water use from the previous business if you're moving up. And that is in works to be covered. We talked about an IGA of the city of Barnesville regarding potential wholesale connections awaiting signature from Barnesville. I believe, if I remember right, our system has 3 connections with Barnesville, and if they buy water, particularly for this proposed data center, it'll travel through our pipes. It's a city customer traveling through our pipes to Barnesville, and they're working on IGA for those connections and that.
Excuse me, do I understand correctly that potential site may use 175,000 gallons a day? It's not a closed loop system, as I understand it.
Down in Lamar,
Yeah.
the numbers that we were, I guess, kicking around months and months ago between the prospective data center provider and Barnesville is 2.5 million gallons a day.
2.5 million gallons,
Yes, sir.
not 175,000.
Now that is at its peak. So, I mean, water cooled systems only use water when the ambient outside temperature is hotter than what the data center inside temperature is.
6 months out of the year for us.
If you ask them, they would say that they're only using that water maybe 30 to 45 days a year. We'll see. No one's provided any math to corroborate that to us. But they just, data centers, they go after all they can get.
What happened, well, I'm assuming you're gonna have to have something like a 20-inch line to accommodate that much flow.
Well, depending on, the fact that they have 3 connections, depending on how they want to improve their system, they could, it may not be a 20-inch main at each connection. It may be a 10, a 16, and a 24, or a 10 and 2 16s, depending on how they actually want to pull it through their system. So right now, the TOF that was requested is basically to understand what can those connections deliver today without negatively impacting our system. And then once they have that information, then they'll go back to the drawing boards. They'll provide a design inside the Lamar Barnesville water system, come back to us and say, okay, we want 500,000 gallons at this connection, 1 million at this one, and then 750,000 at the other one. And I just threw numbers out there, but that's how that dialogue would go back. And then we'll model those results, that scenario, and then we'll put forth system improvements that will be required in order to facilitate that.
Do you anticipate any negative effects on our system?
Day
2.5
one,
million
absolutely.
Gallons a day?
Absolutely.
So that's my question. Have we decided to do that? Because I mean, while it's an advantage to them, we have to look at what's best for us.
And that's where this TOF discussion goes, is we're gonna
It's
have a
water
good
model.
understanding.
We're doing a water model for it.
Yeah, we're gonna understand what the limitations are. Then based on their needs, we're gonna throw that in with our, projections of population growth and all the needs that we need. And then whatever we need, we're gonna add their need to it, and that's how that sizing is gonna happen.
And they're gonna pay for it.
Yes.
So, and that's all fine, but part of the thing that we try to do in Spalding County is to preserve water. So people look at water as an endless commodity. And the other piece for that is that we have a contract with the city of our contract says that if the customer is over so many gallons, it's an industrial customer. Why would we let them run industrial customer water through our lines and we're gonna get $20 for it?
Well, it's
And our lines may be adversely affected.
Because of that contract, we can't stop them. They're allowed to use our lines to sell to wholesale customers. There's
But we
nothing
do-
we can do about that.
We do get a flowage fee, and they have to pay to upgrade our lines.
No, we get a transmission fee that's spit.
Mhm.
I mean, it's nothing. So-
You got the two things. We can't stop them from selling to outside customers.
Right,
get it.
but you're saying that
But-
we can't stop them from using our line?
No.
We
They're-
can't
they're-
agree to,
They're allowed to do that by our contract. But they cannot negatively impact our water system.
So that's the carrot that we have in our pocket, where so the way these wholesale connections and potential customers happen now is before they would go to the city of Griffin, and the city of Griffin would make their decisions behind their closed doors. Now, when the city of Hampton issue was thrust to the forefront, where they committed to some capacities that our system couldn't deliver, kind of revamped the way the process works. So now, potential wholesale customers will reach out to Griffin. Griffin will then, in turn, reach out to us, send their request. We will commission a TOF from Garver. Garver will work at our direction because it's our system, and it's calibrated. We have a calibrated model that encompasses all the city of Griffin, so it's a coordinated effort with the modeling effort. But we control the scenarios, and we control the metrics that will be used in order to ensure that whatever water is being sold through our system is not negatively impacting us at 20, 30 years down the road. But because the water sales agreement allows for the city of Griffin to use our water mains to sell wholesale water outside Spalding County boundaries, there's nothing we can do.
What this IGA does is lay out all these rules that they have to comply with, because it's our system, so.
Refresh my memory.
do
is
y'all
the-
see how I'm looking at y'all?
No, I understand.
Because what I'm saying over here in my head is everybody sitting on this board voted for this crappy contract.
No.
And this is how we
No.
got screwed. You weren't here.
Yeah, we-
Everybody else. We gotta do better on having further vision down the road.
Listen, we're looking for other water sources.
Ooh, honey, every time y'all start talking about this
But
matter.
This time we have 20-some
Big
years,
gallons a day.
20-some years
Huge.
to prepare for that. Last time
Last time,
we were up against the wall.
when I come on this board, the board had waited too late to do anything. And then when the $40 million number came up to buy it from somebody else, the board thought that was some Donald Trump billionaire sum of money, and in fact, it wasn't. You know, because they were used to hearing the word $40 million. You know, infrastructure is expensive. That's just the way it is. You know, you wouldn't build it if you didn't need it. But now we have 20 years to find another water source. But in the meantime, we cannot stop them from selling water to Lamar County. But we can stop them from negatively impacting our system.
Joseph, where's the City of Hampton deal stand? I can't recall.
We're still waiting on the city of Hampton to formally send us a request of what they're asking for. We haven't gotten anything. Per the last conversation that I had with Alex Cohilas, he was going to send a formal request asking for us to give up to provide them water today with the understanding that they were gonna run I wanna say it's a 30 or 24 or 30-inch main from Harry Simmons up to, say Birdie Road on 1941, and then drops to a 24 all the way to the county line.
We're gonna be bad.
We haven't received that request, so right now, it's nowhere.
So how do these two affect each other?
They don't,
Do
they're separate,
So there
so,
wouldn't be any, limits on one due to the other one as far as the flow?
no, so the really limiting factor at this point is, yes, our pipes are constrained, but if the system improvements that were identified in the hydraulic water model get enacted, the limiting factor is how much City of Griffin can produce.
Can they produce that for both?
Absolutely. Yeah, right now, based on each plant, I want to say that their max day that they could deliver to the system is 25 million gallons. So from a treatment standpoint, they have plenty of water production.
But
It's
there
the
are restrictions in the water line.
Absolutely.
They won't allow that.
100%.
Well, that's what they're permitted at. What you're permitted at and what you can produce and meet standards is two different things.
Yeah, but the other limiting factor is how much can you push through your lines?
Absolutely. And that's where
That's what the problem is.
That's where the TR.
that's where the water authority has really taken a deep inspection of. We have 4 criteria that Garver uses for any development that comes into Spalding County Water Authority's system. We look at tank drafting. We look at a reduction in volume of the tank volume. We look at velocity profiles through the pipe, where we're ensuring going forward that we don't care if you are another Sun City Peachtree or you are a 100 lot subdivision. We are going to model your development. We're going to know exactly what demands you're going to put on our system, and we're going to tell you what system improvements are required, because we will not lose any capacity that is currently existing today going forward.
With potential, I'm wrapping my head around 2.5 million gallons a day. Would that potentially require another tank on the south side?
That is definitely a possibility, because while water tanks aren't necessarily sized by demand. Other than a good rule of thumb is whatever your average day demand is of the system, you want to have at least that amount of water up in the air.
In reserve?
Well, our average day demand right now is 2.6, and we are, I want to say, I think we have, if we look at Griffin and the Water Authority as a combined system, we're good. But if you strip out the City of Griffin's tank volume from our system, we need a tank today.
Well, I'll
What
say,
you talking about,
I'll
million
say that
gallon
I
tank?
think all of us
I think it would be justified.
share your concern.
Yeah.
However, there might be one bright side to this, in my opinion. If they pay to improve our system, that helps us in the future, because we get bigger pipes, another tank or whatever. So as Spalding County develops, that stuff we don't have to pay for, other people are paying for. That might be the one bright side of it. But at least they gotta follow our rules. And this IGA specifies what they gotta go through and what they gotta pay for. So,
Okay.
It's not ideal.
not
But-
ideal.
But we're making the best we can of it.
All right.
Hey, we're trying to make lemonade with some old lemons.
Yes.
Item number 4 is interesting. If you remember, I reported that Joseph and I met with the city in a friendly meeting a month or so ago. And the preliminary view was they'd like to keep the water service. We would get the sewer service off the new airport. But we had a joint meeting with McCroy Engineering a week or so ago. And this is where you're proud to be on the water authority. We have an engineer. They don't. And it really shows up in that meeting. And that's nothing against the city, just a difference in our capability in that area. But what we agreed to do for Croy is Joseph is gonna take the topos and do some preliminary engineering, looking at us getting sewer to there and the city getting sewer there. And we believe we can do it cheaper, but in his, preliminary engineering, he tells what pump stations we need and the gravity flow and all those issues. So we're going back to Croy and give them all this, and they don't care who does it. But if, it looks like we can do it cheaper if we can, we will put it into our sewer system and not the cities. It'll be city customers, but they'll pay us for the sewer, operation. So I think it's gonna be sort of 50-50.
70-30.
Both sides are gonna come out of this better.
So so you're saying that the airport is going to be in the city's designated service area?
It is by MOU.
It already is. That was given away too, a long time ago.
When that was negotiated, the MOU, of course, the city didn't have any sewer system at the time. I mean, the county didn't have any sewer system at the time, and not as much water system, but things have changed, so.
No, but my issue with this is that the decision to allow the city of Griffin to annex was agreed upon, but the county didn't have the authority to
So the
redesignate our
MOU
service area,
that
so that's why
Mr. Morrow is referring to was signed between the city of Griffin and the Water Authority. So the MOU clearly, the board at the time signed that over.
What year was that?
15 years or so ago.
We'll get the MOU and we'll send it out.
I've
to
looked
the-
at it. It actually existed.
2006, maybe? Was it 2006?
About two, yeah, that's a good guess.
Cause I mean, of course, I don't hardly remember what I ate yesterday, but I feel very certain that I would have been paying attention to the fact about those service delivery areas. And so if it's in fact the city service delivery area and it's reflected on the service delivery map, then clearly, I mean, the water authority doesn't determine that. I mean, that's designated in an agreement. And I know that we've had some issues with the service delivery map in the past. So maybe it might be a good thing for us all to be reacclimated to what our service area is. Because clearly, Spalding County made decisions for the water authority that was not reflective of the water authority board.
Well, that MOU, which would get you, was signed by the water authority.
It was signed by
this-
Dave Lamb.
This may be a moot point because the last conversation that we had with the city, there's a potential here where we could do some service area swaps, which we could end up going back to, because right now there are areas that are our water customer, but the city of Griffin sewer customer, and there will be areas that will be the city of Griffin's water customer and our sewer customer. So that's not ideal. You would think that if you own the water, you should own the sewer as well. So this may be a moot point going forward, because Brandon offered up if there's a ability for them to be made whole on kind of what flows that they're getting today going forward. Would we be opposed to possibly modifying the service areas? I said we'd be open to anything, because we originally talked East Griffin was part of the 1995 Exhibit C area that was given to the city of Griffin water, but it falls into our sewer service. So if we did a CDBG grant, we couldn't fix the water system, even though the water system is dated back to 1960. That we know the pipes are dilapidated because nobody's done anything to it. So I think early next year is going to yield some potential fruit for maybe this discussion goes away.
So what I like for us to be reflective about is that it's not just going to be about the airport. Once this annexation is complete, and most of you know this, annexation is like the flu. You get a piece, and then somebody wants the next piece, and they want the next piece, and they want the next piece. And pretty soon, you're annexing all of that area surrounding the airport, which, you know, is our service area. So we need to be thinking about what is that gonna look like, because it is clear to me that there is no reason why the city of Griffin would annex onto a peninsula and not want to get the rest of the space surrounding it at some point.
We're on it.
Well,
Okay.
I'll say this, the encouraging thing to me was when Brandon said, as a result of this, why don't we look at both systems, and there are pieces that don't fit in either one of our systems. If we did some swapping, we could have some improvements. And we agreed to that. So also the really big win out of this, in my opinion, is if we can get some airport money in their budget to help pay for our sewer going into the airport, that gets us much closer to East Griffin, something we'd have to pay for in the future. But if that'll get us up near where we just go down the road, we could pick up East Griffin in the future and not have to carry the cost ourselves. So,
We already know East Griffin is prime for community development block grants. So.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Quick questions.
there's a big win coming out of this, I think, if this all works out.
You can't prevent annexation, can you?
It's not very easy.
Yeah, not very easily.
Oh, my,
I mean, with the city designs annexation around the property of the airport, there's really nothing you can do to stop it, is there?
It's
Well-
very difficult to
Yes,
stop.
yes.
It's not impossible, but it is very difficult. And the MOU amongst the sponsors, the airport sponsors, and that is the city of Griffin, Spalding County, and the airport authority, does provide for annexation of the airport property proper. But what happens beyond that is, I don't have my magic 8 ball handy, so.
Oh, no, I understand. And even further to East Griffin, there's nothing to prevent annexation of East Griffin or any contiguous property. There's really no stopping that flu spread.
I think I'm not an expert on it, but once you have a other utility provider in that area that can provide the same services, I do believe there is a way to stop annexation.
I thought we had an agreement that they could purchase the
Water, we have no agreements over sewer.
So I think there are some advantages to us to get the sewer service to the airport to help us with that whole area, including East Griffin. But
I saw
anyway, the city's been very amenable to talking about this and working with us. They're
I saw
not,
the presentation you made, and I thought it was a brilliant potential plan, but I'm just dubious of us putting in that infrastructure and then it be gobbled up by the city of Griffin.
well, that's another bridge, another day.
But those bridges
There's
come off
another
quicker
place to
than you
have that conversation. Let's move on.
Okay.
But I'm gonna plug the planning committee, guys. We're talking about these things, so
That's good.
make sure you're there.
All right.
All right, and the last thing, Joint Water Authority Chair Cannon asked General Manager to follow up the City of Griffin so he consider this closed. That's for the contract, or the
Joint Water Authority.
Joint Water Authority. That has died, and so we're gonna put that officially to rest. Right? Any other, I'm afraid to ask for any other questions. But that was our meeting, our report.
Moving on to finance. Mr. Davis?
Thank you. On 10 December, we really talked about three critical issues. The 2026 retail water rate presentation by Ratellis. That really was a long, detailed presentation of what their model looks like. At what point does, if the city raises theirs this percentage, what does it do to ours, and goes on and on and on? How much do we want in sinking fund and all of this stuff? If you're a real geek into numbers, it was a great time for you. If you're not as geek into numbers, it was a pretty hard time to be able to go through all of it. The second item was total project cost for Pine View Road water relocation. The consensus was to not exceed, to do it and not exceed $100,000. The last issue had to do with the capital recovery fee for existing customers. Basically the carry on from what Dick talked about in the planning session with us. Comments from Cal, anything from you?
I'm good.
Any comments from Dick, on this? Okay. That's all in our report.
All right.
It was, so that you know, we went through the, cost model pretty heavily. And what does it mean? What does it look like for everybody's knowledge?
I took it home with me.
Yeah, so, if they raise it 2%, what does that mean? Does that mean we have to raise our rates and all of this stuff? And how does it work out? How many days of, operational funding do we wanna have? So it was really pretty detailed stuff and you can be assured that we walked our way through what does it look like on every conceivable way that we could. That's
My takeaway was thank God for them.
for the geeks.
Do we need to vote on the, since 100,000 exceeds Joseph's 50, do we need to
Later, I
vote on
think
that?
it's
Coming off,
Agenda.
that's
In
coming
the
off.
agenda, later in the agenda.
Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. So, in talking about the capital recovery fee, I'm a little bit, wondering why in the original, water, fee schedule that we have from Raftellus that it wasn't addressed, a capital recovery, we only talked about capital recovery fee for new customers. And why we didn't address if we were going to create something for
We were
existing.
starting at zero.
Huh?
We were starting at zero, so we had to start somewhere, and then this situation arose, and Joseph was like, this really isn't fair. That's how that came about.
So the capital cost recovery fee was developed based on looking at the water system assumed capacity that has currently been paid for by the ratepayers up to this point. So the assumption could be made that assume that once we develop the capacity or the capital recovery fee, you have to automatically assume that every customer that was existing prior to that date, it was assumed that they paid that because they have been paying it in their rates. Going forward, any new customer or any upgrade of service, so if you have a 1-inch meter or you have a 3/4 inch meter at your house and you want to come to the water authority and you want a 1-inch meter, we're going to assume that you've paid the 3/4 inch fee, and then we're going to charge you the delta between the 3/4 inch and the 1 inch. Because that's now your 1-inch meter can impose more of a demand on our system. So that's how we're going to go forward with it. So any new customer gets assessed the capital cost recovery fee. Any existing customer that upgrades their service gets assessed the capital cost recovery fee. The only thing we have to keep into account of is if you're existing, we have to make it, the assumption is you've already paid the fee, even though we know you didn't because we didn't establish it until this year.
So essentially, you're grandfathered in where you are.
So, but I guess what I misunderstood, because if you are an existing customer, you are still putting work on the system.
Correct, but
So,
it's,
and you're not paying any capital recovery costs from the point that we started charging.
but it's assumed, so if we didn't have a capacity cost recovery fee, everybody can agree that the excess capacity is being paid for in the rate structure, right? So going forward, if we say, okay, well, we're actually gonna strip out a portion of the capacity fee and we're gonna now assess it at the time a new customer comes in, that amount of money can actually be stripped out of the residential or the retail rate. So all we're doing is just switching pots. Does that make sense? So if we didn't have a capacity recovery fee, our water rates would absorb all the excess capacity and any future improvement. Now that we have a capacity cost recovery fee, we're setting that money aside to pay for future upgrades. That won't affect the retail system.
I'll simplify this. We made a decision as an organization that we were not gonna no longer allow our ratepayers to subsidize new developments. We are now taking that a step forward where our ratepayers will no longer subsidize redevelopments. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
I will say this, when the city put water in the county, I was in the county and I hooked up that $13 base rate included paying for the system.
Cause that was the debt. Yep.
Which was
The
the cost of
2015.
building it, so that was in the rate, the base rate. So now that base rate doesn't do that. We charge that up front.
Okay.
But when you change an old furniture store and make a grocery store out of it, there's a huge water sewer difference. And they're gonna pay for the difference. They're grandfathered in at the old,
They got a credit coming in the door, basically, is what they got, but they gotta make up the difference.
And then now, we're gonna be, we have to be mindful that if that grocery store then converts back to a furniture store, the capacity fee that's been paid for that store is on the higher amount, so that amount always stays with the building. So it's gonna create a little bit of more challenges for us, but we can do it.
You're not gonna give a refund.
Absolutely not.
oh, let me say this.
It's like joining a club for a year. You've paid your dues. You enjoyed that club for a year. That club money, the dues you paid is now spent. And because you decide to get out the next year, don't mean you're gonna get the previous year's refund.
Let me just say that Joseph is working on this. And so this is gonna come back through the committee system to here, so you'll see this,
Again.
the study.
Written form.
Okay.
Moving on to new business. Consider approval of the Spalding County Water Authority Hydrant Maintenance and Flushing Program. This is surrounding our sanitary survey, and as a written policy we need to have in place before we have said sanitary survey.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve of this program.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
If anybody has questions, Joseph can explain more.
So Joseph, we have a written policy about what I know you told us what the hydrant maintenance program is. This is just making it in copy, in print.
Official.
What it is, okay.
That's right,
All right,
because
that's all.
There's some agency requires it. What is it?
so it's EPD. When our sanitary survey, we've defaulted to the city of Griffin's policies, but it's time that
That's
the city, yeah. And so we're acting like an authority.
Well,
Okay.
memorialized what we have been doing is what we did.
Yep.
That's what we're doing now. I got a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand.
Oh.
All right.
All opposed?
The EPD is now happy.
Unanimous? Yep, the EPD is now happy. Item 2, consider approval of the Pine View Water Line Relocation Project bid not to exceed $100,000 as presented by Piedmont Paving and Grading.
Motion to approve, so everybody knows this does not include, as I remember, blasting.
Correct.
So if it comes into where we have to blast, it will be an amendment to be able to do this, but we're up to $100,000.
Yes,
And I did learn a new term, rippable rock.
That's right.
the actual bid was $66,160, but we're just doing a not to exceed 100.
Right.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Already have a second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? Unanimous. Other business. The next regular scheduled meeting will be held Wednesday, January 21st, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. in the Courthouse Annex Meeting Room.
It will be 2026, won't it?
That will be 2026, as Ms. Wyndham just pointed out, because we do not own a time machine yet. Secretary, Treasurer comments?
None.
General Manager comments?
I think I can speak for the team. We do appreciate the support that the board gives us and the flexibility to do our job and provides us the resources. So I think it's safe to say that we wouldn't have been able, we couldn't complete and act the way that we do without y'all's support. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Y'all do such a good job. Even that quiet guy over there, Parker.
But that's it.
Authority member comments. Ms. Gwen?
Nothing. Happy holidays to everyone. Stay safe.
Cal?
They want.
I would like to echo a little bit of Joseph's comment. After my first year on the authority, I appreciate the work the staff does. You guys do a wonderful job. I've never seen anything turn over as quickly as you guys can do it, and with the accuracy that you can do it. So I appreciate you guys, and Merry Christmas to you.
Blue hat guy?
Thank you. I want everybody to kind of, and I hope I don't say this too awkwardly, pay attention to the timelines we're setting up. from a county standpoint, the developers are watching our timelines pretty closely. And I want to make sure that everybody pays attention to them, because as we move things around, developers get really antsy about it. And as they move stuff around, we get antsy about it. So please pay attention to the developer and our timelines as Joseph comes up and says, we're doing this, we're doing that, because it makes a big difference in what our end objective is for the county. You know, as we slide or as they slide, it all makes a difference. So please, when you listen to Joseph's comments about this is when we're going to start, specifically sewer, think through those decisions that are there. That's all I've got. And Merry Christmas to everybody. And I echo Cal's comments on your staff. They've done a great job for us all the way around, including Charlie. And so I appreciate that. She does a lot to take care of me as a old guy. So I thank her for that. That's all I've got.
Ms. Wanda?
I concur. Happy holidays to everybody, safe travels, and see y'all in the new year.
Yeah.
No comments, just Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
I gotta talk a minute about the staff too, because when we sat down with the city and the GIS maps of all of our water, all of our sewer, we got a question, click on the computer, you would not believe how impressed I am with what they can do. And Joseph spoke to the Daybreak Rotary recently, and I get all his feedback, what incredible price. And everybody, I think, is starting to understand what we do out here on Arthur Bolton to bring in business and industry has the chance for the first time since I've been in Spalding County of affecting the millage rate and lowering it, because industry's picking up part of the cost to operate in this county. And it's going to be, looking forward to a few years, a great benefit to the homeowners, in my opinion. So, and if I ever learn to understand what Parker's telling me, I'll be so proud. He's a whiz bang, but to the staff, I agree, they're awesome. And also Merry Christmas. I'm proud of what this board's done this year. I think we've worked together well as a team. So Merry Christmas.
I want to run through our list of accomplishments, and then I'll ask for the motion for adjournment. For 2025, this is what we have actually managed to pull off despite all our dysfunction. Infrastructure and construction, we acquired all fee simple and easements associated with the installation of Line A and the influent pump station for the Cabin Creek Water Reclamation Facility. We also managed to do that without any eminent domain. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Which is something I'm actually very proud of. We approved and issued the GMP contract to Lakeshore Engineering and R2T for the construction of the Cabin Creek Water Reclamation Facility. Under operations and compliance, we implemented our own open records request platform using just FOIA. We implemented our own meeting minutes and agenda management platform with Granicus. We implemented our own YouTube channel for live streaming. I actually think Parker probably did most of that. We obtained official Georgia 811 membership, improved plan review process with step-by-step flow chart for developers. We got our own NPDES permit issued for the Cabin Creek. We completed maintenance on 3,222 fire hydrants, satisfying the Spalding County Fire Department's ISO requirement. We installed two new PRVs, which pressure reducing valves, for people who don't know what that is, at Heron Bay hydraulic grade line to help that tank flow better. We created the Spalding County Water Authority Service Line Inventory public app that any Spalding County Water Authority customer can access to check the status of their service line. We reduced the total number of unknown service lines from 8,626 to 4,329, resulting in a 50% reduction of unknown service lines. That goes back to the lead and copper rule. Financial achievements, we received a AA3 credit rating from Moody's, all on our own, and issued $25 million in revenue bonds, probably in what would be considered record time, I would think. Implemented both capital cost recovery fees for water and sewer. We executed the intergovernmental agreement for wastewater treatment services with the city of Griffin that allows for sewer customers within our service area to potentially access the city of Griffin sewer system on a temporary basis while our sewer system builds out. Established an intergovernmental agreement with Spalding County to formally provide GIS services to support a steadily expanding portfolio of county departments, including the tax assessor, Public Works, Community Development, Emergency Management, and Administration. Migrated Spalding County users to a dedicated ArcGIS online environment, transitioning away from shared system with the SCWA. This establishes the best long-term foundation for each organization by allowing the GIS environments to be independently planned, governed, and scaled to meet future needs, while still maintaining simple and seamless data sharing between Spalding County Water Authority and the county. I don't think Joseph actually wrote that line. Issued sewer availability letters for average and peak demands totaling 43,000 and 124,000 gallons per day respectively. Reviewed plans for 23 new prospective developments. For the staff, we got some service awards here. The SCWA Years of Service Awards in 2025, Greg Elliott reached 15 years, Charlie Hearn reached 10 years, and Greg Ballard reached 5 years. We also increased our GIS department with the strategic hiring of Michael Colson to help support our partnership with Spalding County. Under digital and administrative, we launched Spalding County Water Authority's first fully digital GIS-based hydrant inspection workflow for the 2025 inspection cycle, replacing the old paper-based process and manual office data entry. This streamlined the inspections, improved data accuracy, and lays the groundwork for more efficient annual workflows in the future. Developed a GIS-based lead and copper solution enabling seamless field inspection, streamlined reporting, and improved stakeholder engagement to meet federal compliance requirements. We developed a GIS-based solution for new water service installations, enabling the office and field teams to work seamlessly in a single system. This reduces paper forms and manual data entry, streamlining the installation and improving the operational efficiency. And I love getting rid of paperwork. Developed a GIS process to process efficiently geocode and classify Spalding County Water Authority customers, accurately placing customer locations on the map and categorizing them by type. This enables advanced capabilities such as water rate calculations and analysis of water use by specific areas or subdivisions. That's when they get to click on the map and all the lines pull up and answer our questions. That is about enough for this year. I will look for a motion of adjournment in which
Mr. Chairman.
everyone.
Can I say one thing? I
Yes, you
just
may.
wanted to provide you with an update on our legislation.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that too.
The legislative council that is going to be handling it has been in touch with me. He has our completed version along with a red line that he requested, and you will see the ad in the newspaper next week, and then it will be ready for our legislative delegation to submit. I believe the first day of the session is January the 12th.
And hopefully that passes, and that will give us some teeth for some enforcement mechanisms and get rid of that god-awful name. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. I have a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, all staff.
Welcome down to the end of it.
You know, it's pretty chill down here on this end. I can understand.